In this video, we're going to be talking about Facebook's journey from a college messaging app to one of the most prominent social networking apps in the world, and also how it has become a company that has had the most negative media attention and scandals, especially when it comes to privacy concerns. Let's head straight into it. Over the years, Facebook has become one of the largest tech companies in modern history. It was launched from a Harvard dorm, and if you've had the experience to watch the famous 2010 movie called The Social Network, then you have a clue that the story of how Mark Zuckerberg built this giant app can be quite controversial. It was on February 4th, 2004, that what is now Facebook was launched. The app's first version was very primitive and simple compared to what it is now. Back then, it just allowed users to upload their profile pictures and share their interests. But this was good enough to make people connect with each other, which led to Facebook's user base growing from 1,200 to over 1 million by the end of the year. This number was achieved as the app grew popular in other Ivy League schools within the Boston area. By 2008, Facebook's user base had grown to 100 million users, and by 2012, it had grown even more exponentially and hit 1 billion users. You can tell by the numbers that Facebook's growth has been phenomenal since its start, starting with 1 million users to about 2.5 billion users at the end of 2018. Facebook started expanding to other products quite early on its journey. In 2007, it started Facebook Marketplace. Then, in 2008, Facebook Chat was launched, which back then took instant messaging to a whole other level. Facebook also acquired Instagram and more recently, the instant messaging app, WhatsApp. But even though the story of Facebook has been one of huge success, it has not been one without controversy. At first glance, you wouldn't expect such a fun and apparently harmless app to be in the middle of some major scandals. But in fact, there aren't many companies that have received as much negative press as Facebook has in the past few years. Over the years, most of Facebook's major scandals have involved privacy concerns. But there have also been some other scandals that have nothing to do with privacy. Let's first dive into some of those. One of the biggest criticisms that Facebook had is that it gives a platform to a lot of fake, unsubstantiated, and hateful news stories. One of the first times that this matter took center stage was during the 2016 US elections, where Facebook was accused of influencing voters by allowing Russian firms to run ads to spread fake propaganda, which influenced the outcome of the elections. Another time when the platform was involved in something similar was to do with the country of Myanmar. Myanmar is a small Southeast Asian country that has an ethnic minority Muslim group of people called the Rohingyas, who were facing really terrible discrimination in the country, to the point where terms like genocide and ethnic cleansing were being used to describe what was happening to them. Wondering how Facebook could be involved in such a situation? Well, this is how. Facebook is extremely popular in Myanmar, with millions of people using the platform, and it was actually one of the main ways in which false news and hateful propaganda against the Rohingyas were being spread by the public, and even politicians. This got so bad that Mark Zuckerberg himself acknowledged that what was happening in Myanmar was terrible, and that Facebook has to do more. However, Facebook's biggest and possibly the most impactful scandals have all got to do with users' privacy concerns. At this point, we think it's common knowledge that if you use Facebook, you're giving them a lot of your information. They obtain it when you first open your profile, and when you post stuff or interact with other people's posts. You can only hope that your data is not misused by the company. But Facebook has been accused of violating data privacy laws by allowing third-party apps and companies to access user data. One of the biggest examples of this was when a man named Alexander Kogan used Facebook to collect data from 87 million users, which data was reportedly later used to influence elections. As a consequence of this, Facebook faced a massive loss of trust, and they had to tackle it by upgrading and strengthening their privacy settings. They also did an apology campaign that was centered around their founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg, which involved taking responsibility for what happened and acknowledging Facebook's mistakes. They even issued full-page ads in the newspaper stating that they have a responsibility to protect user information, and that if they can't, they don't deserve it. Thankfully for Facebook, they didn't really face any significant financial consequences from this. But in 2018, Facebook reported disappointing earnings and said that their revenue growth would probably slow down while they addressed their privacy concerns. Their stock prices then dropped by 19% in just one day, losing almost $120 billion in market cap, which was recorded as the biggest single-day loss ever for a public company. Even after all of this and Facebook's continuous promises to do better, user privacy concerns still kept coming up. For example, in September of 2018, there was a security breach that gave hackers access to sensitive data, like phone numbers and email addresses of 30 million Facebook users. Not much later, there was also a software bug that exposed the photos of up to 6.8 million Facebook users. Then, in March of 2019, Facebook learned that they weren't masking the passwords for hundreds of millions of their users, which meant that employees of Facebook had access to this database. Fortunately, they caught this issue before anything bad had happened, but the news did still shake up people's trust in Facebook further. You would not expect such a huge company to make such blunders, right? So it makes sense why a lot of Facebook users have felt really let down by this repeated breach of their personal data. Now that we've covered Facebook's growth as a company and its many scandals, let's talk about what the future holds for this company. We think that the future of the company is going to be focused on establishing and constantly improving on their existing apps like Instagram and WhatsApp. The Facebook app has not been doing so well with the younger generation who are migrating to other social networking sites. It'll actually be interesting to see how far the company can go. We'd also love to know what you see for them in the future. Also, whether people hold Facebook accountable and choose to delete the app to protect their privacy is a choice that only they can make for themselves. But we do think that it's important for people to at least be aware of all of this and factor it into their decision regarding if or how they use this app. Facebook has come a long way from where it began, but we don't know if it will be able to regain people's trust when it comes to their data privacy. What do you guys think about Facebook's growth? Do you still use the app to keep in touch and connect with your family and friends? Or have you moved on from it? Please comment below and let us know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content on some very interesting topics. Please also comment and let us know your opinion on the controversy surrounding Facebook. We'd love to hear different takes on this topic from you guys. Thanks for sticking till the end of the video, and we'll see you in the next one.